Hello, beautiful soul. So today I want to talk to you about Chiron in Leo, and Chiron basically in the fifth house, because the fifth house is ruled by Leo. So we're going to take Leo as the main archetype for the fifth house so that we can understand for those that are having Chiron in Leo, the wounded healer in Leo in the fifth house, what does that mean for you? What are the things that you need to be aware of? Especially because with this wounded healer, there is potentially a lot of hidden things that you don't notice because you cover a lot of your issues with ideas of overconfident, being overconfident, but sometimes it is just a mask not to deal with what really is going on in the inside. And this happens not only with those rule in this Chiron Leo in the fifth house, but even with other people that, may have other Chiron wounded healers in other places, because sometimes we don't want to see the pain and the suffering because we think we can handle it if we don't think about it. So for those people that have Chiron in Leo, this is actually very important to be aware of when I go through this list about, am I still dealing with some of these things? And if you know, that's great. So maybe you're here just because you want to know what are some of the abilities that you have, how to use and to help others. So we'll get to that at the end. So for those people that have Chiron in Leo, this is the wound of talent, adoration, feeling sometimes unspecial, unrecognized, and they tend to need a lot of attention and validation. So these people are super creative, they're very expressive, they have strong needs that they need to be seen, like that desire to be seen, like, look at me, I am the alpha, I am, whatever your talent is, whatever your skills and creative expressions are, you tend to want to be recognized for those things. And the problem is that a lot of these people may struggle with issues of ego and pride. So there is a lot of that energy that needs to be overcome with those that have Chiron in Leo, because that is the wound. That's where the wound is coming from, the ego, from pride, being prideful, and sometimes even being too sensitive to criticism, because potentially in your inner, in childhood, your inner child was wounded with not being validated by parents, maybe being ignored, no seen, no heard. Maybe you didn't get a lot of attention. Maybe they gave you a lot of criticism. Instead of giving you support and positive feedback, they use their language in order to bring you down. So you might be super sensitive to what it means for you to be who you are. And you might be always seeking attention in order to continue to validate that you are special, that you are whatever the master, writer, poet, singer, artist, dancer, business owner, healer, whatever it may be. You may always need that extra support from others near you to let you know that you're doing a great job, because otherwise you might feel like, maybe I'm not that great, or I need to continue to do more in order for me to be seen and validated, even though you might not put it in those terms when you speak to yourself. Essentially, that's what a little part of you is saying that they need, if you haven't healed this yet. I want to be clear with that, because a lot of you listening to this probably already have healed this, just because maybe you're already in the healing journey and you already started to address this earlier, right? So you might be here just for the healing abilities that you can use to help others and to get some ideas. So when you think about, before we go deeper though, for those, because sometimes when you have your Chiron in Leo, your sign probably is something else. It could be Scorpio, it could be Aries, it could be whatever it is, Virgo, Taurus, Pisces, Sag. So whatever it may be, you probably don't know anything about Leos. Just because if you're not into astrology like some other people are, you probably just pay attention to your sign and to your partner's sign, and you forget everything else. So you probably don't know about Leo, is what I'm trying to say. So if you don't know about Leo, let's just go over real quick some of the Leo characteristics that, like qualities that they have in general for those people that are carrying Leo. you're going to pay attention also to the qualities, the positive and the negative qualities that those with the zodiac have when it comes to Leo, right? So for those that are general Leo people, these people are loyal, they're kind, they're generous, they're sometimes they can be very tolerant. They have that alpha queen king energy. They're very optimistic. They have obviously they have a lot of song energy, right? So they're very intuitive. If you're already channeling, you might be channeling a lot of spirits that are highly ascended. You're naturally born leader, very loving energy, generous people, very fearless, just like the lions, right? When you think about Leo and the negative traits that some of these people tend to deal with, is that sometimes they could be a little or too arrogant. They could be super dominating, like it has to be their way or no way. They could be dealing with a lot of anger and even rage. They can be also very super sensitive and impatient. And they might even be super blunt to the point that other people are afraid of really talking to them when they notice that they're not in the best mood. So they it's just what it is, right? So one of the biggest problem with Leos, even just if it is Leo in your sun or moon sign, is that these people really need attention. They need to be seen, they need to be heard, they need to be validated. So with that in mind, when you think about Chiron in Leo, you have all of these things too that you are bringing forward as potentially things that you can use to heal and help others with, right? So when you think about this energy of having Chiron in Leo, it's almost like a desire to shine, to be recognized, to be validated, to have attention of family, friends, community, whoever, if you're performing, the audience, wherever it is, right? And if you don't get that, then you feel like inferior. So you might be dealing with issues with self-worthiness that you might need to pay attention, a lot of insecurities, doubts, and fears about that. Also, if you experience these issues in childhood, it was probably from family members, teachers, or the community, where you maybe did a drawing and your parents didn't even look at it, or they say, oh, that's ugly, or your siblings made comment that made you feel like you were not as great as you thought you could be, even though you were just a child and you were playing, right? And you were creating something. Maybe you are creating things out of trash or recyclable materials. And something that is amazing, someone said, that's just trash. So the words that they use created a lot of wounds, almost like personal little attacks on you, like attacking your worthiness and the idea that you had when you were a child about what it means to be this creative and have this talent. Maybe you were dancing and you fell and then everybody laughed, and that created some wounds, and it just keep piling up. So whatever your special talent is, these people have a special talent, and whatever it may be, whether it is being a healer, communication, creating, dancing, moving, writing, singing, whatever it is, you have something so special to offer yourself and society, this planet. And it is very attached to your self-worth, and you will struggle for the most part of your life with these issues because it's the biggest one that you have to overcome. So there is a lot of fear about no being recognized for everything that you have to offer, which is amazing. But because you have so much fear and doubt, sometimes you may do too much to prove that you are this amazing, or you might not do enough out of fear that it's not going to be great anyway. So there is no balance, right? Also, you might be like a really, when people talk so much about themselves and how amazing they are, like a bragger, like you might be bragging all the time and showing that you can be very prideful. And even though sometimes that's great, it can also be seen as, wow, that person probably has a lot of insecurities because they always have to put in my face that they're doing amazing in order for me to see how amazing they're doing. So it could be seen both ways, right? So again, dealing with a lot of issues of insecurities and worthlessness is something that these people deal with most of their life, like feeling not confident, even when they appear to be confident. They might hide behind that superficial confidence because they are too afraid to look at the deeper wounds. So they might portray a lot of confidence to the public, to the outside, but inside they feel this little. So they do have to work with their ego. And, if you remember Hercules and the 12 penance that he had to go through, this is one of the first things that he had to go through. And it was to fight the lion, which represented the ego and pride. So when you think about this, and that ego that can do a lot of things to keep us safe, but in reality it's because it's afraid of what else is out there, right? Or what else is inside that needs to be handled and attended to. And because when we're looking inside, we tend to break ourselves down in order to look through. This energy of the ego is going to come through to say, no, don't go there because it's not going to be safe. It's going to hurt. So it's almost like you really have to knock really hard to go in and do the job that you need to do in order to heal those wounds. So what happens when you're healing those wounds is that you're going to become a really good version of who you're meant to be. There is not going to be need for validation and attention. You're going to it's not like you're going to get rid of the ego. It's that you're going to be able to master your ego in order for you to go through the wounds, the inner child wounds that are pending, the inner created parts of you that are pending to be healed. So when you think about that, you're going to get rid of a lot of feelings of how do I say that? Oh my God, I cannot even say it. Inaccuracy. You know what I'm saying. So that feeling that makes you feel like I'm not adequate for whatever talent I'm trying, like if I'm painting, if I'm singing, if I'm doing some presentation, if I'm doing public speaking, like right now, I couldn't even say the word. Well, that doesn't take me away from what I need to say, right? Like somebody will do the video 3 or 4 times because they have this issue with trying to be perfect, trying to be the best or whatever. So there is a lot of ego there. I'm not saying that I don't have ego, because trust me, I do. But what I'm saying is you're going to get rid of some of those problems where you don't want to care about what other people say as much as what you think about yourself, which is the big thing for us to concentrate about what we need to see within ourselves, feel within ourselves, and how we need to measure ourselves. So am I better today than yesterday, regardless of what anybody else thinks, right? So when you start healing those things, you're going to go through a lot of ups and downs. And because you have Chiron in Leo, you probably deal with a lot of confidence issues, the ups and downs of what it means to feel confident about yourself. And it is very painful because you feel good and then something happens and you go down the rabbit hole, and then eventually you feel a little good, and then you do that thing again where you feel sad again because you don't feel as good as somebody else. And you might be dealing with a lot of jealousy because other people show that they got it, they go for what they want. And sometimes that can create a little bit of envy, right? So let's assume that you're already working through this and you're already working to express yourself. You're already working to accept who you are in all of this. So what can you do for others? What are the things that you do for others that you might be even doing naturally, even before you go through your own healing? Because this is an energy that you have, that you might not have access to yourself, but you might be giving it to others freely, right? But when you really start thinking about, like, what do I do for others when I heal this womb, is that you're going to be helping others heal their inner child, heal their inner creator. You're going to allow that passion, help them tap into their passion and determination to be authentic, to explore maybe the planet, to explore talents, to explore places, to explore different careers, not to be afraid, because you're so fearless. You're going to be able to naturally help other people do that. Maybe you're doing it through teaching, coaching, healing services, shamanic healing, maybe something like what I do with regression services, hypnotherapy, or something like that. Maybe traditional therapy, whatever it may be. You're going to be helping people get rid of what it means to be themselves, to be authentic, to get rid of depression and self-worth issues, insecurities, doubts, fears, guilt even, and pride, obviously, in their ego, letting go of the ego so that they can be more even humanitarian, right? So helping others with public speaking, being more authentic on social media, embracing their unique gifts and abilities, helping others see how unique and talented they are in their own individual way, right? So when you think about the things also that you could do for others, it could be helping people become more extrovert. Like, let's say there is an executive that needs to go for a job, but they need to bring a lot of extrovert energy into the job. You could be doing coaching for them because you're naturally perfect at doing this. You may be great at empowerment coaching, life coaching, whether it is to accept themselves in the way that they're meant to be, public speaking, bringing out a talent that they didn't even know they had, letting go of self-judgment, just being authentic, being more social, exploring life and other things that they never considered before. You're a great listener. So with that, you could do a lot of things to help others, and just holding space is very it's like a gift, right? So just by learning some cute, like small things, you could become really good at holding space for others. So what else? I think there is so much that you can do when you heal this. You are a powerful motivator. So think of the lion and the leadership energy within you and what you can do for others. I see a lot of mentoring, public speaking, helping others, even writing, creating something so unique that inspires others to be authentic. So it could be a million things. So I'm gonna leave it here for now. And yeah, I think this is a beautiful energy. You know, I can definitely feel that energy for sure. A lot of creation, a lot of talent, and maybe you're helping others by validating their feelings too, whether it is through tarot reading, Akashic records, or whatever you're doing, intuitive healing, so numerology too. So you could, I mean, the sky's the limit with this Chiron and Leo energy. So I'm gonna leave it here and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much.